What up, Philly? What up, y'all? Man. I can't be up here without the greatness of others, and as you can see, man, look at and everybody, this team, this organization, I've been so thankful to been able to play and grow up pretty much here half my life. Only problem I have is that it's over. This season is over, and we're getting ready for the next one.
The Eagles are. Brandon Graham, well, he's getting ready for a different part of life. Retired yesterday officially. And today we honor Brandon Graham on the Midday Show. 215-592-9494. That's how you hop board. Brandon Graham, what's his legacy to you? To me, he is, and I'll frame it this way. He had the greatest career of any Eagle ever. Doesn't mean he was the best player, but when you add his career together, 15 years, 3 trips to the Super Bowl, 2 rings, to go out on top the way he did, I say he has the greatest career of any Eagle ever. Span all the different coaches and eras and everything. I mean, he watched Howie go from not in charge to in the closet to back out.
In the closet is crazy.
He was stuffed in the closet by Chip Kelly. He saw it all. What a great career for Brandon Graham. All right, Hugh. So we all said earlier in the show that Brandon Graham is now on our Eagles Mount Rushmore. So now we have to unveil them. You can't say a Mount Rushmore without saying all the names. Hugh Douglas, your updated Eagles Mount Rushmore goes as how?
I can't remember exactly who was on my Mount Rushmore, but I know that there was some heavy debate about it a few months ago when we were here. I want to be consistent, but sometimes it's kind of hard because we do so much.
We did win another Super Bowl since then, so it's
No,
allowed to have changed since.
It does change,
but there's been a whole lot of discussion about whether or not Peanut Butter Week happened a while ago, or
it's really not. It's not up for debate.
But actually, today is day 3 of Peanut Butter Week.
Well, I'm just trying to be clear and concise.
Oh, you don't want to be.
I want to be linear. I'm just saying. I'm not.
Always clear and concise.
I'm not. I'm not trying to take a. I got to remember we're at work now, and I got to be careful.
You say it as if you just got here.
No, but I'm just saying I get comfortable. But I'm not trying not to, talk bad about one of my coworkers.
Okay.
But okay. Okay, just let me get to my Mount Rushmore.
Not in this segment, at least, yeah.
Yeah, not in this one. Okay. Reggie White.
Okay.
Chuck Bednarik. Brian Dawkins. And Brandon Graham.
Chuck, Reggie, Doc, Graham.
Yeah, so I think the guy that I took off is I think Jason Kelsey was on mine at one point.
So you know what's interesting about yours? You spanned a lot of you kind of started like the start to finish is I'm going to guess on I haven't heard Kyle's full one yet. I'm going to give mine. I'm going to guess yours, Hugh, is the one that spans the most time of the Eagles, right? You started at Chuck and you ended at Brandon Graham. So you kind of covered all your bases there.
Yeah.
All right, so I like yours. Now, I think the Kelsey one's going to be a challenge because for a lot of people, he just went on last year. Does he get bumped off for BG now? Actually, on mine, I have both of them. So my Mount Rushmore.
Don't do it, Joe. You about to do something crazy, ain't you?
But that's up to you to decide. I'm just going to tell you my Mount Rushmore, okay?
Okay.
I'm going to go with Brian Dawkins.
Okay.
Because I believe Doc, like the way people feel about, and he was your teammate, Hugh, and your friend, but the way people feel about Kelsey and Brandon now, that was Doc then, right? He was the one that everyone loved, and he was an incredible football player. So
yeah, I one caveat.
Whatever the caveat is, he's a Hall of Famer?
Well, no. Let me stop talking over your Mount Rushmore. Right. Let me be more considerate.
So here's what I mean.
Wait till you get to mine.
Here's what I struggled with.
What's that?
I struggled with how much I should weigh Super Bowls versus not Super Bowls because they're like Brian Dawkins doesn't have a Super Bowl.
He didn't win one,
but he's a great all-time great player, not just Eagle, right? He's a Hall of Fame player.
Well, the information has changed over the years.
But I kept Dawkins. Dawkins is on, and he's not off. Okay, he's on my list. I also kept Jason Kelsey on because I believe he checked a lot of boxes with winning, and he's an all-time great player. He'll be in the Pro Football Hall of Fame one day, too. I do have Brandon Graham now on the Mount Rushmore. I believe what I said a half hour ago holds true for this. If you had the greatest career in a uniform, you have to be on the Mount Rushmore. So I put him in. And then people might not like this. I don't care. I'm not moving him off. Nick Foles is on my Mount Rushmore. He was the first to do something this franchise never had done before. He won Super Bowl MVP in their first Super Bowl. So the way my Mount Rushmore is Dawkins, Foles, Kelsey, BG.
Dawkins, Foles,
Kelsey, BG.
I have no problem with that.
The reason I don't have Reggie on, and I understand Reggie's the best player of all these players. Like that, we all know that. To me, Reggie's best moment was a Packer.
I get that.
He won with the Packers, not here. And I'm not saying it was his fault. There was the whole thing with not paying him, and he went to Green Bay. I don't know. I just, like, when I picture Reggie...
There's no signature Eagles moment with Reggie White.
Are you kidding me?
That's serious.
I remember holding up the Lombardi in a Packers uniform.
Well, I guess because you're looking at it from the perspective of what did they win. Mm-hmm. Reggie White and Jerome Brown. Like, every time I see Reggie, in my mind, I see him and Jerome. I see them as a pair.
You picture them, yeah.
Yeah, because they were what everybody who wanted to play on the D-line wanted to be. It was like I grew up a John Randall fan, because that was the body type, similar body types. Dude was wild. But it was just John Randall. And then you had Chris Dolman for the most part. They were together. But Reggie and Jerome,
yeah, they were great.
They wreaked havoc. They put fear in quarterbacks. And every time I think of the Philadelphia Eagles, and I think about that era, even though they didn't win anything, because I know that's what we've switched now, and I respect it. Now everything is about winning.
Mm-hmm. City of champions now.
Yeah, it's the city of champions, and I get that.
Multiple rings.
But when you talk about the embodiment of Philadelphia and the epitome of the Attitude Era, to me, that's that group. That's Seth. That's those guys. Muddy Waters. Those guys played with an attitude, and I could sit to this day and listen to stories being told about Randall and that defense, Buddy Ball, and all that other stuff, because to me that embodies Philadelphia. Now I get the fact that winning championships, that's something we haven't done in a long time. That trumps a lot of things that people like to see. But man, when you talk about the attitude, gritty era, and some of the just personal stories I used to hear about Jerome and how wild he was, that's what I think about when I think of Philly.
Yeah, and it's changed, and mine is weighted way more to the last 8 years than the whole history of the franchise. But they've won. They've been to 3 Super Bowls the last 8 years. They've won 2 of them. So that's why those guys are represented. So mine is Dawkins, Foles, Kelsey, BG. Kyle, your Eagles Mount Rushmore.
So different age brackets here.
Sure.
We are currently in the singular best era of Eagles football.
Without a doubt.
So mine has even changed from a few months ago, before we had ring number 2. And I don't have any personal memories of Reggie White, so that could be a part of the reason why he's not on mine. But again, if I were to turn on NFL Network and they're showing NFL film stuff and Reggie White's time comes up,
they're going to show the Packers
like you
uniform.
said, it's him winning a Super Bowl trophy with the Green Bay Packers. So I don't think he has a signature Eagles moment for me, or one that stands out that locks in Reggie White to the Eagles Mount Rushmore for me. Brian Dawkins obviously is one of my favorite players of all time, in general, transcending sports, all of that stuff. Brian Dawkins is on the Mount Rushmore. I did have Jason Kelsey on there,
okay,
but
so you kept him. You got BG now.
No, I did not keep Jason Kelsey.
You had him on.
Somebody on the Eagles offensive line is now a 2-time Super Bowl champion, and he's probably, if I'm being completely honest, a better player, and that's Lane Johnson.
Wow.
That's strong. Kyle.
This is the first time Lane is starting to come up in these conversations. And then this morning he did speak because he had that new restructured deal. He could be around for 3 more years. If you look at the games played, if Lane plays out this contract and stays healthy, he could challenge BG for the most games played here.
Yep. So I have Lane on. Brandon Graham is on, as I made the case earlier. I think you could argue that he is the single greatest Eagle in totality of his career of all time.
So you have 1 spot left.
I have 1 spot left that I think should have been held by who was the greatest quarterback in Eagles history, and that was Donovan McNabb. McNabb's off.
It's Jalen.
Jalen Hurts is on there now.
All right, so
I don't know what's funny. He's been to 2 Super Bowls.
I don't think it's funny.
He won a ring, and if we're comparing him to the other guy that won a Super Bowl here in Philadelphia, Hurts has probably had a better total Eagles career than Nick Foles.
Well, yeah, he's probably started more games now at this point.
And he didn't puke in the Super Bowl.
That's for sure.
I like when it gets personal.
These are facts. No, these are facts.
That's what I'm saying. But it just adds a certain touch.
And you've never said that before.
All right, so here's my thing.
Yeah,
you did say that.
I said that I was out of pocket.
We have records.
I was being pressured at that point. I had just got here.
Oh, stop!
And I was being pressured.
That was all you. Stop.
I was being pressured to make
blaming everybody else. Excuse maker Douglas has arrived. All right, 215-592-9494. I don't mind the Hurts inclusion. I just felt it was early. Now, look, he's already been to 2 Super Bowls and won one, right? Like, so he's already accomplished something most quarterbacks here. I mean, actually, no one's ever gone to 2 besides him, and he won one, which only him and Foles have done. So I'm not mad at Kyle for putting him on. I guess I wasn't ready yet.
He wasn't ready.
I wasn't ready. It's 5 years. It's just 5 years. Now, he's likely headed there. If he gets to another one or wins another one, he's a lock to be on this thing. I mean, heck, he might be a Pro Football Hall of Famer if he does that. I wasn't ready to do it. Dawkins, Foles, Kelsey, BG for me. Is Brandon Graham now on your Eagles Mount Rushmore? 215-592-9494. I think it's interesting all three of us put BG there today, without question. Maybe we're just caught up in the moment. Maybe it was the speech yesterday. Or maybe it's just the fact that he played 15 years here. I mean,
I've always admired the fact that BG has been able to play at a high level for as long as he has. And for me, the reason why I feel the way I do, because I'm eerily familiar with the position that he plays. And I remember, like, yesterday, what it felt like when my body started to break down. And I was trying to fight it off and trying to steal those last couple years.
Does she do anything for us?
And for him to, again, and I'm not saying anything that I haven't said to him. Like, dog, you're still playing at a high level at 30-something years old. You're still running with the young dogs, the young pups. And your contribution is impactful. The night that he got hurt, the first time, I was like, damn. You know, and if I'm being honest, there's a little bit of jealousy there, too, because you're looking at it and you're like, damn. That cat. That cat.
Are you going to be all right over there? What are you doing?
I'm getting too comfortable. But
why has Asai Reddick been on 4 other
that cat,
freaking football
teams?
Joe,
I can't explain to you what it's like to see somebody at 37 years old getting after the quarterback the way that he was in that game. And he got hurt, and I'm sitting there, and I'm like, and then you get to thinking as an old guy, be like, damn, maybe if I'd have put that tequila bottle down back in 1998.
Are you reflecting?
But I mean, you just do that because you're trying to figure out. And again, I've talked to BG about the different time they take care of the players way better than they did when I was playing. But man, when you look at that and you think about what would have happened if you didn't have to practice as much, or if it was a little bit lighter, how long you could have played, and you had all the kind of nutrition and the stuff that they have now, you're like, it's only natural. Because you'd be like, damn, how long could I have played if we'd have practiced like this? You know, Harold used to do it when we were at practice. Harold would talk about how when they practiced, they did 3-a-days and stuff like that. So you reflect a little bit, but yeah. What he did, man, and did at a high level for as long as he did it, that's phenomenal. That's very impressive to me.
Well, it was amazing. 215-592-9494. Your reaction to the retirement of Brandon Graham. And is he on – what's your Eagles Mount Rushmore? Like your updated Eagles Mount Rushmore. Kyle makes a good point. When they win the Super Bowl for a second time, you can re-etch that thing. It changes here.